The Beekeeper, which was finally released in Japan 1 year after its initial release, has so much potential. And why is that? I would have to say it's because of its fundamental question and the three-act structure that comes out of the question that it asks with every punch and kick, so to speak. That question being, what is one's place in the world? To simply be. No pun intended. To use the best of my inarticulate ability to really promote this film, this great cinematic experience, The Beekeeper, starring Jason Statham, I'm going to call this three-act structure the 3Bs of secret program stories. What are the 3Bs? Well, 3Bs in Act 1 we'll call being outside the program. Act 2, back into the program. And Act 3, beyond the program. And this whole idea of being a clandestine operative, I think, is a wonderful way to look at one's search for a place to be in this world. And the world in The Beekeeper is not that much different from the world we live in today, where we find the rich and powerful exploiting the rest of us who are just trying to live out a simple life with the means that we have, especially through the hard work that we do day to day. So let's get into this, The Beekeeper and the 3Bs of secret program stories, with Act 1 being outside the program. In this act, we're introduced to Jason Statham's character, Adam Clay, who is living his life in retirement of the Beekeeper program, which is so secret that even those higher up in the chain of command, CIA and FBI, have no idea about this program. It's almost like a legend to them, almost. But in any case, Jason Statham's character, the retired beekeeper, Adam Clay, is living in this idealistic countryside farm with a kind-hearted old lady who is also retired. And the importance of this act is to, one, have the main character question, where does he truly belong, and is such a peaceful, idealistic existence as the one in the first act the existence that will let him be, so to speak. And the transition between Act 1 to Act 2 is this really, realistic for our world today, where internet scammers are, fishing for information, especially financial and banking information, to steal from people around the world. The kind-hearted old woman falls victim to these scammers, which take everything, all her life savings, and the multi-million-dollar charity fund that she manages as well. And this unfortunate situation leads to her taking her own life, which then incites the protagonist of the film The Beekeeper, Adam Clay, to get back into action and exact revenge for this kind-hearted old lady who he befriended and feels great importance in his life. And speaking of back into action, this title for the Act 2 of the 3Bs of Secret Program Stories will be Back into the Program, where Act 1 asks the question, who is the main character? Act 2 asks the question, who are the people in this world that the main character lives in? And what we find is, multi levels of wrongdoing and corruption and taking advantage of the most vulnerable people that Adam Clay believes to be in this world, which is not that much different from our own, and that is the senior citizens of the world. What he says in the film, in Act 1 especially, that children are the most vulnerable as well in the world, but at least they have adults who look out for them and who protect them. But the senior citizens of the world, they tend to be forgotten and discarded by society, so to speak. And living in a country like Japan, like myself, you see that every day, and it's, oh wow, it's kind of moving me into tears speaking about it right now. It's yeah, it's really sad, and we need to do more, because not only Japan being an aging society, I think all developed countries, I mean, they're moving towards that, and they are vulnerable because the world is changing so fast, especially with technology, that who's going to look out for them? Hopefully, we don't have to do all of the action movie way of dealing with wrongdoings. However, it is an important reminder that the film The Beekeeper, whether you enjoy the film or not, is an important reminder that we need to take care of not just everyone, but especially the most vulnerable at this time because of technology, senior citizens of the world. So, where Act 1 asks the question, who is the main character? Act 2 asks the question, who is in the main character's world? The title of Act 2, Back into the Program. It's not just about the main character returning to the program, but returning to the fundamental basis of the existence of this secret program. And as Adam Clay uses the whole system of bees to explain what it means to be a beekeeper, the fundamental existence of the program is to protect the hive. And wow, in this film, does he really do it? There's some great action scenes here that are so well constructed from beginning to end. That's another video to talk about. Just the simplicity of the action scenes, how well they're constructed, is something to keep in mind when writing your own action scenes or directing your own action scenes. I mean, hat off to David Ayer, the director of The Beekeeper. What a fantastic job he did in the film. So, having said that, let's take a look next at Act 3, which we'll title Beyond the Program. So, in Act 1, the question being asked, who is this person searching for their place to be? Act 2, who are the people in the world where he's trying to find his place to be? Act 3 asks the question, who should be responsible for the world? And here we find Adam Clay using his skills and amazingly simple resources of just picking up a phone and calling the right person to get help from. He, makes his way like a ninja into the estate of the rich and powerful in this film who are responsible for the wrongdoings in the world of the beekeeper. So, this question of who should be responsible for the world, we'll see how Adam Clay answers that question through actually his fashion. And what I mean is he moves in and out of different types of clothes from how do I say, the, hard working countryside, fashion, plaid shirt, baseball hat, denim jeans, to the, how do I say, the, secret agent, tactical wear of the soldiers, and also into a finely tailored suit as a member of the rich and powerful. Who should be responsible for the world? Well, it's all of us, basically. However, though we should all be responsible for this world that we live in, the next question, which is actually the fourth B, so to speak, looks into, that actual place where the fundamental question, the search for a place to be, where should we find our place to be? And the fourth B I'd like to title The Life in Between. So what I mean by this, life in between is, best explained by the imagery of the last scene that we find Adam Clay in the film. And what happens after he exacts his revenge for those responsible for the kind-hearted woman he befriended, he dons a wetsuit and scuba gear and disappears underwater, escaping the forces of the rich and powerful. And I think that's a great image of our search for a place to be and this kind of life in between. You're part of the world, you're in the world, but you're not of the world. You're kind of beyond it, so to speak, by being in between it. A really kind of paradoxical way of being. But that idea of your sense of being in a fluid state, that you can move smoothly in between, or being outside or being inside, that is perhaps the best way to answer the question of our search for a place to be. Don't be outside, but you can't be inside too, because just about anyone could be corrupted by the world at large. But at least be fluid to move in and out of this home we call planet Earth, something like that. That is, if you have a better way to say it, please put it in the comments. I've been trying my best. But yeah, this is a work in progress. But yeah, that's the Beekeeper. At least my perspective of the Beekeeper. As a 3-act structure that we can title the 3 B's of Secret Program stories. Such stories like The Beekeeper or Born Identity. Not just being an action thriller story, but also a way to look at the question of our search for a place to be. To live peacefully throughout our lives, to overcome trouble throughout our lives, and to be productive to the hive, so to speak, and also to protect the most vulnerable in the hive. See The Beekeeper. I mean, it's a lot of fun. It's very cathartic. It's not that suspenseful because it's Jason Statham. He can kick anyone's ass pretty much. But the bad people in the film, wow, you really want to see them get their comeuppance, and that's kind of the magic of the film, The Beekeeper. But yeah, take a look at it, The Beekeeper. Hopefully, other people will see its potential and it'll become a franchise, and we'll get to see more great action by the great Jason Statham, as well as go into questions philosophically or so on that anyone in the world will go through throughout their lifetime. But in any case, thanks so much for your time. I really deeply appreciate it, and I hope you'll be back for another video. It's just the beginning of the year for movies and traveling in Japan. In the meantime, thanks again and have a great day.